What's up, people? Episode 51 just came out. Wasn't a lot of action in this week's episode, but we do have a lot to talk about, so let's go.
There's one thing I say and always keep.
Alright guys, so obviously last week we found out that Bulma still had the time machine that Cell used to get to the past. So we get a little bit of a flashback to back then when Bulma asked Trunks if she could have the time capsule because Trunks did take it. She said that she wanted to use it for research and to find out how it worked. Unfortunately, she could never get it to work, so she just sort of stored it and forgot about it. We saw a flashback of Dragon Ball Z when it happened, and then we got to see a reanimated version that they did, still in like a flashback. Well, here's both of them here, and you can definitely see the difference in animation. Anyway, now that that's been all explained, she can fix up this time machine instead of making one from scratch because she didn't really know how, but with the book that she has, now she can fix this one up and it should be sweet to go. Goku says he wants to go back, he wants to fight Black, and Vegeta says too. Vegeta says, I'm coming too. I already told you there's a certain task I want to handle. I am also at a loss. Now, I sort of have a theory on what that is, but I want to just talk about quickly what happened. Goku went up to Whis and asked him to train him. Whis is obviously really annoyed at this point. You can see it in his face and his tone. So Goku sort of asked him really nicely, please train me. Please, please. Please, 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 please. Lord Beerus looks at Whis and said, I knew this was going to happen. And Whis turns to him and says, so did I. Whis basically tells Goku, with all these time machines popping up everywhere, I'm not in the mood to train. Because Whis and Lord Beerus did explain to them that time travel is against the law. It's against everything. They're not allowed to do it, but they're going to do it anyway. So Whis refuses to train Goku, and they say, why didn't you go train with Vegeta? And Vegeta walks off. And honestly, I'm not really sure about this part. I don't know if it was the way it was translated or whatever. It just doesn't seem right. But Goku says Vegeta looks a bit fearful right now. Krillin also seconds that by saying he looks more than a bit fearful. Now, I don't know if that could be translated a different way. I don't know if that is actually translated the right way and it means he's a bit fearful to ask them because he knows he's going to break the rules. But he goes into the gravity room, he opens the door and says, I won't forgive you. Is there another task that Vegeta's going to do? I'm not sure. Though it does make sense that he would be fearful to ask Whis and Lord Beerus knowing that he's going to break the rules. I am really interested to see what Vegeta was talking about. There's a certain task that he wants to do and like I really do think it's just him going to kill Black, but I mean, it seems really simple. And he does say, I won't forgive you. So, I mean, surely he must be talking about Black. He killed Bulma and is going to kill his son. So, I mean, I don't know. Very excited to find out, though, because that was the most puzzling thing to me in this episode. We do get a funny scene, though, where no one wants to train Goku. So he's like, oh, I'll go ask Kai-sama. He'll go ask King Kai. And when he got there, King Kai told him to just go away. Goku doesn't understand. He's like, why are you so angry at me? And then it pans out to show that his whole planet still has Kamehameha marks everywhere in the ground because this guy just wrecks his planet all the time. So everyone sort of goes off to train. Bulma's mum and dad came back from a vacation, I suppose. So they're walking up, coming back, and Bulma's saying, hey dad, look at this time machine, blah, blah, can you help me, whatever, sweet. Pilaf, Shu, and Mai are still here, and they start whispering a plan to, like, take the time machine and world domination, blah, 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 Pilaf being Pilaf. He calls out their names and says Mai, and Trunks immediately looks at her and said, did he call you Mai? Yes, holds her hand. Really creepy, made me feel really uncomfortable. Holding this, I know that, yeah, she was a woman, and now she's a girl, but she is a girl now. That's what, and he's just sitting there, holding her hand.
Oh, now you can't speak English.
But it's cool, we got to find out more about Black through that, because from that, she asked, tell me about what happens in the future, and he starts explaining his relationship between her future self, how she was like leading an army to help kill Black and really sort of uplifted him. But in the flashbacks showing all this happening, we get a pretty interesting conversation between Trunks and Black. So Trunks obviously flies in saying that he's going to stop him after Mai and her crew tried to ambush him and set a trap, but it didn't end up working, obviously. I mean, they dropped a whole bunch of buildings on him. Well, I don't know why they thought that would help because he's been catching all their bullets. So, yeah, I don't know, clever. Black does comment on this saying, this is all the intelligence that the human race has, then you deserve to be destroyed. Then Trunks, you know, as I said, comes flying in. He starts off by calling Trunks a Saiyan, which he is, he's half Saiyan. And Trunks starts to question him, why are you doing this? Black simply says to him, that humans don't deserve to be alive. That the gods have made a mistake in creating humans, and it was their only mistake that they've made. He goes on to say that he's from a higher place than he is, and he has seen this world, the universe, and all the truth behind it. He says to make the universe a beautiful, perfect, peaceful place, that he's going to destroy all the humans on behalf of the gods. Sort of seems like he's acknowledging the fact that he's not a god, so he's doing the gods' work for them, but he's obviously been in the presence of gods. So being in the presence of gods, I'm not sure honestly where he's from. I do think that he's from a different universe, and I honestly think that he's going between universes to kill all the humans in every universe. It does make you question though, does he just think that humans don't deserve to live, or have humans done something so catastrophic that he just deems them as a threat everywhere? Anyway, Trunks obviously goes to fight him and can't do anything. Nothing. Someone throws a flash grenade, I'm assuming it's Mai. She grabs Trunks and takes off, and Black says, in a real condescending way, you're running away and you're part of a warrior race. There's also a really cool part in this episode as well, where you see Black, obviously just after he came back from fighting Goku, and he's talking about how the fight that he's had with Goku is deeply embedded into his mind. You then see him copying the movements of Goku, the stances of Goku, and then throws a punch which is really powerful and says, this movement suits this body. Now we can compare this to Ginyu's body transfer technique, where he took Goku's body and Goku was in Ginyu's body, and Ginyu thought that he was going to be stronger than him, but he didn't know how the body worked. So because he didn't know how the body worked, he couldn't use the maximum amount of ki that was needed to fight. He just didn't know how the body worked. He didn't know how the ki would flow. He didn't know how to throw a punch in that body. He's obviously used to a bigger, heavier body. That body was lighter, but he didn't know how to use it properly. So I'm guessing that's exactly what's happening here with Black. He's had this body for a while. He's obviously really strong, so he's been using this body with, I'd say, his power alone. But now that he's starting to figure out how the body's working, he's going to be much stronger. And he does say he needs to learn a lot more about Son Goku, because he needs to know how it works, because he can get stronger. So I mean, we're getting closer and closer to that Super Saiyan White theory, just a Super Saiyan theory in general. We're getting closer to seeing maybe him unlocking a new form just to fight Goku. At the end of this episode, Lord Beerus says to Whis, I felt this ki before, it feels familiar, I feel like I know who he is. Whis just simply looks at him and goes, oh, you think so too? It's definitely something we're going to have to investigate, leave it to me. Lord Beerus says that he'll leave it to him, so I mean, that's super exciting to me. So yeah, not a lot of action happening in this episode. I gave you the noteworthy things in this episode. It shows the preview for the next episode with Zamasu at the beginning. You see Zamasu, so I'm assuming we get to meet him in this next episode. Then a lot of the trailer is about Trunks and Gohan. Trunks meeting Gohan now as a scholar. We see flashbacks to Trunks as a kid with future Gohan. And future Gohan was always just kick-ass. I mean, just brutal, grew up without everyone else and had to learn how to be strong and powerful. I really love future Gohan, and I'm sure a lot of people love future Gohan, so it's going to be really cool to see those flashbacks and how he was compared to the Gohan that's there now. The Gohan with a family, he's a scholar, he doesn't fight anymore. So yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. Another really interesting thing that happened at the end of that trailer, Goku is traveling with Lord Beerus and Whis, because I assume they figured out whose ki that was, and now they're taking a trip to Universe 10. We do see Zamasu in the next episode. I think that he's probably from Universe 10, and so unlike what I theorized last week, he might not be evil. I mean, he could still be. Maybe he sent Black on that mission and gave him the time ring, or maybe Black stole the time ring from him and left. We've never seen it before, but maybe Kai's take on apprentices, and maybe he was an apprentice and he's just seen stuff that he doesn't like. He doesn't like what's going on. He doesn't like what humans are doing. He steals this ring and he takes off and travels to different universes to kill humans. Another thing we've got to try fit into all of this is, when did he get Goku's body? The story arc is honestly so good right now because I have no idea what's going on, like most people. It's honestly really cool the way that the story's panning out, because just when you think that you might have it figured out, they chuck in another spanner into the works and you have no idea what's going on. The story writing's real good in this, and like I've said in the previous videos, I don't know what's going on, but it's really fun to chuck these theories out there. If you guys have any theories, let me know in the comment section below, because I'd really like to hear them. I really want to know what some people think about this, because it's blowing my mind. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys think about Zamasu. Let me know what you guys think about Black. Thank you so much for the support, I really appreciate it. As always, people, I'm the Saiyan side to me. Catch you guys next time.